Hi everyone, I'm Shelley and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. I'm back with another Question the Narrative video, and today's topic is ancient maps, ancient ruins of Antarctica. So I came across this really interesting map on Instagram a few months ago, and I've kind of just had it sitting in my gallery for, well, since that time. This is not it, but I will be showing it to you in a minute, but I wanted to start with this one, because this is probably the most well-known map of Antarctica, at least what is thought to be the coastline of Antarctica before it was covered in ice. And it is called the Peary-Reis map. And so what you can see on this map is that Antarctica, and what we typically may know as the ice wall, was once just rich with life and vegetation. I mean, this looks like monkeys here. This is possibly a cow. It's hard to tell. Is this a goat? A horse? This looks like mountains, and we know that there are mountains even now, but they're all covered in ice. But it raises the question of, well, this map is very old. I believe it was made in the 1500s. Yes, it was made in 1513, and it certainly does seem like they had a lot of cart cartography expertise in those days. But here is the map that I was really wanting to show you today. This is a map that actually kind of shows it better, because the other map, the Peary-Reis map, it leaves it a question, is that Antarctica? It's really hard to tell, but this one, it's pretty clear that we've got North America here, South America, Africa, Europe, um, Asia, and we can even see, the names of the places we have. Virginia and Florida, the Rio Grande, Africa, Constantinople, Hispania, which would be Spain, Sardinia, that would be, I'm guessing, Patagonia right here. And yes, Patagonia is on the southern tip of South America, and it is very close to Antarctica. And this is the coastline of Antarctica. And what I find to be very interesting is that there are names for these places. This name in particular is very intriguing, because I looked up the meaning of Terra Sancta, and it means Holy Land. And that actually fits in. I'm going to be doing a live stream with a Tin Hat Talks tomorrow, and we're actually going to be discussing where is the real Holy Land. And it's just funny that the day before we're doing it, I find a map that has it labeled in Antarctica. And then right here it says Phoenicia. So that really, it kind of has me scratching my head. Also, interestingly, I was looking up the names of some of these other places to see if they would be as intriguing as Terra Sancta. And while they were not, Moronia actually means fool, and Felix means happy. So this place here means happy fool. Nova Genia, I think, means new woman. And this actually looks very similar to Aphrodite here. This is Hermaphroditica right here. Another interesting thing, though, when I was looking up the names of these places, is that I did find them listed in a book that is about ancient Greek writings. So Morona Felix is actually listed in the book that I'm going to be showing you. I also looked up, which one was it? I don't think I looked up that one. Nova Genia, I believe, was also listed in there. Um, there was an Pia Moronia. I looked that up. All of these names are listed in this book right here. The idea of the antipodes, place, people, and voices. Unfortunately, I tried to check out the full PDF without downloading it, and you have to be a member here, so I couldn't. But it just says the present study traces the discourses about the antipodes from Greek and Roman writings to recent Pacific Island literature and into the 21st century. So I just find that very interesting that the names of these places in the Antarctica map they're actually listed in this book here. But now I just wanted to go over some of the photographs that I came across on this Instagram account. I'll leave a link in the description so you can follow it if you would like. I will say he does not have a biblical perspective. He does kind of have a ancient aliens perspective, but he has some very interesting videos and photographs here, and I'm going to be showing you some of them that I did find from him. All of the photographs that I'm going to be sharing with you now come from the Instagram account that I just showed you, and he doesn't say specifically where he got the photographs from. So I will say that I cannot verify that these are all definitely from Antarctica. But he claims that they are all from Antarctica and that they were taken in the late 19th century. So this would have been before the Antarctic Treaty, when all of the not all of them, but a bunch of the nations around the world signed a treaty basically making it impossible for people to explore here unless they have the nod of the individual governments. So this is claimed to be some ruins from some civilization in Antarctica. So I just wanted to look through them with you. This seems to be columns. It almost reminds me of the columns that are left standing in Rome of the ruins of the temples, and even of the columns that are in Washington, D.C., the standalone columns that were supposedly left over from when they were refurbishing, I believe it was either the Capitol or the White House. So kind of reminiscent of this. Although they do look a bit more weathered, but maybe because of the weather, get it? No, but they may have experienced more erosion because of where they were at. But that's the impression that I get is some sort of columns. These are some statues. And I mean, if you look in the background, it certainly does appear to be an Antarctic landscape. And you can really make out the features on the face. He has a mustache. This, well, it's clearly a woman. I see that now. I was going to see if it had a beard, but maybe it's a veil. But these are people. These are statues. This almost looks like it was bombed or had a fire. It wouldn't surprise me if it was bombed because we saw what happened with all the great fires in the major cities. I know, at least in the United States, I know there was a great fire of London too. And many of us believe that those fires occurred so that they could hide history. And so it would not surprise me in the least bit if that's what happened here, if they would not want people to know that there was a civilization in Antarctica too. Some more. And you just see a lot of this very classical architecture that you would expect to find in Europe. Um, at first, I thought this was the back of the other one, but he seems to be too far away from this one. But they are definitely more statues on some sort of pedestal. Not something that you would expect to find in Antarctica. Another statue, very interesting looking. I mean, this almost looks the face shape to me looks almost Incan. Another column, and again we see this landscape in the background that is certainly desolate, and you would expect to see snow everywhere, but more and more people are coming out with what they claim are photographs of Antarctica that does not have snow everywhere. And many of these, they look like they were at one point chiseled. They look like they're not rocks, but pieces, debris from some sort of destruction, some sort of rubble. This also clearly looks man-made. And this. It almost looks like the end of a bridge to me. And I mean, there is water here, so could it have once been the end of a bridge? That very clearly looks like a pyramid, and we know that there are pyramids worldwide. This looks like brickwork, like what you would expect to find in 19th century America. This is very similar to what you will find if you go underground in underground Seattle. They claim that it all burned because it was wood, but if you go on the underground Seattle tour, you will see lots of brickwork, and that is exactly what this looks like right here. It looks like burned brickwork. Brickwork. Is that possibly some sort of arch there too? I really do wish that we would have some sort of source for these photographs, though, because they are amazing and they really, spark the imagination. But where did they come from? Who took them? Those are things that I think are important to know too. More columns. And it certainly looks like there was some sort of structure here too that the columns are standing on. Ice. Could this have been? This definitely looks like a 90-degree angle right here. 100%. We have another statue here. In front of this, is this a mountain? Looks like a mountain. That's definitely a pyramid. Looks to be like a step pyramid. And is that a little one in front of it? Or is that something else? I think I came to the end of them. So again, I will show you that I did find them right here. If you wanted to go back and take a look, you can scroll through, see that he has all kinds of stuff. He even has Petrified Giants of Antarctica. Actually, let's take a look at that quickly. It says unpublished photographs of the last century from the 50s or 60s corresponding to a secret U.S. military mission to Antarctica. 300 miles deep in Antarctica, terrified American soldiers discover 6 petrified giants, including a child. The giant beings were between 14 and 15 feet tall. Look at the clothes and draw your own conclusions. Do they remind you of the clothing of the ancient Greek gods of the ancient scriptures? Observe their faces and the attitude of panic, perhaps, from the last seconds of life of those giants. Death and petrification came from above, and the horrified giants look up to the sky, waiting for their end. A giant woman tries to protect a child who may have been her son. An ancient non-human flying ship detected them and instantly petrified them thousands of years ago. That I'm not too sure about. What I'm thinking as I look at this is that it is very possible. Let me see if I can make this bigger. No, I can't. Is that it's very possible that this may have been during the flood. We discussed flood bodies before. We visited that channel, and the idea that many of the statues that we see nowadays may be actually petrified bodies from the biblical flood. And I'm thinking that it's very possible that that's what these are too. So this was really an interesting find that I did not expect to find here as we were going through his stuff. But yeah, I encourage you to follow him and just see what else he has. Remember, he may not have come from the same perspective as you, but the photographs he has are absolutely stunning. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one either here or over on Instagram. And if you like my work and would like to check out my Patreon page, I will leave a link in the description box for that as well. And I hope you have a great day.